Well, hello. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. A little something on my mind that I want to get off of my mind and let you know what it is. I usually put out these podcasts because, yes, I know the phone is ringing and it's probably bull crap, and it is. Love caller ID. What's on my mind? I'll tell you. It's real simple. We got a political election year. We got people who love to run negative ads. I mean, it's not like the politicians are ever going to tell you what they're going to do. They're just out bashing everybody else, and this is true everywhere, really. And here's what I said on Facebook. Well, another election year and a whole bunch of negative ads on television. First, things need to change. Either say what you are going to do, Mr. Politician, or shut your pie hole and stop talking negatively about your opponent. Second, there should be absolutely no political parties whatsoever. Why? Because the parties are corrupt, which are made up of people who would sell out their grandmother for the right price. The games these political candidates are playing affect all of us, all of the U.S., and the liberties and freedoms we enjoy. What's the solution? Abolish all political parties and campaigns and tell the truth about the Federal Reserve, Germany is asking about their gold, and the Internal Revenue Service, the biggest collection agency in the world, and cut the pay of all Congress members by half, or completely restructure or reconstruct Congress to only have one senator and one representative per state. That would only make 100 members of Congress or more with their assistance instead of the 535 members that are there now. We need to A, fire all lobbyists and special interest groups, and B, ban all corporations from funding anyone that is not for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. C, arrest all politicians that have committed treason against this nation, including the President and Vice President, if they are found to have deceived us. Well, of course, some would say, well, that would only work in a very utopian society. Yes, and your point. We must do what we must do to stop the insanity in Washington, D.C. It is time for all of us to rebel against this tyrannical system. Facebook and YouTube censor things, delete entire posts and members. Threats are not to be taken lightly from them. They are of the system. We must use their machines to devalue their system. The people that use Facebook and YouTube are bringing value to them. Facebook is using our information, etc., for advertising, and we are not getting any of the revenue from that. Why? Because they want to control us. Same with YouTube. What do? Whatever we want. We, the people, have the power. Let me remind everyone of this. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That is the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. And I continue, that UCC piece, the Uniform Commercial Code that people put up on Facebook to tell them that they are not allowed to... the UCC piece that people put up on Facebook to tell them they are not allowed to use any information is bogus, period. Talk to an attorney and they'll tell you. By Facebook's own admission in their policies, they are electronically, that we electronically signed, they own everything we post. Why? Because the people that now run Facebook, that would be NATO and the CIA, want to know everything about you. It's quote unquote electronic profiling, much like we all profile certain people ourselves. Facebook does it electronically. Is there more? Yes, much more. Proof and evidence to follow. What are your views? I want to know what your views are, so you can email me directly at the views expressed at freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's freeamericaradio@usa.com. There are so many things out there. I mean, I don't know about you. As you can tell, the phone's ringing off the hook over here. And all it is political campaigning. It's robocalls. Okay? That's the other thing that needs to be outlawed and illegal. Okay? All the time. Well, some people would say, well, how are, the candidates going to know what the people want if they don't call? Well, these calls are generally basically, hey, this is who I am. My opponent did this. I will do this. And please vote for me. That's basically what they are. And the bottom line is it makes no sense that these robocalls continue. Okay? It just makes no sense. There isn't one thing that there's not one robocall that is ever going to make me vote for any candidate whatsoever. There's not going to be anything that these candidates are going to do that are going to make me vote for them. Unless they stand up and say, enough of the system. We are going to follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It is the rule of law, and that's how we're going to live. If they can't do that or don't want to do that, then I'm not voting for them. The only person, and I don't, endorse any candidate whatsoever, but the only person that even comes close to doing that is Gary Johnson. I'm not giving my endorsement about him, to him, of him, or anything, but from what I've read, he's the closest to the Constitution, other than Ron Paul, who obviously they kicked off the ticket because of the fact that the big guys didn't want someone telling the truth, and stuff like that. But it just goes from there. We cannot put up with this any longer. We just can't. We can't put up with what is happening. And it's going to take you, or as I like to say, we the people, to, step up and do what we have to. We the people have the power. We are the resistance. We are America. We are what this country is, and we bring value to this country. Okay? And it's only as valuable as the people that are in it. Look at all the other countries that the military here have occupied. They've gone and really changed the regimes in those areas. We've occupied those areas. We have done everything we could to overthrow, and that's exactly what we did, to overthrow other countries. Okay? We've done it for hundreds of years, and we're going to do it some more. But the fact of the matter is that we need somebody in the White House that is going to change all of the policies and say, we're going to take everything out and we're going to restructure. Because let me ask you a question, okay? You buy a house. You go through the house, you look at what the problems are, the plumbing, the foundation, the walls, everything. And the house, let's just say the house is 30 years old. So you go through it all, you find out what needs to be fixed, and you fix it. Or you find out that there's like a certain corner of the house, the foundation is a little off or, kind of rotted underneath. You look all over the place. What do? You go in and you repair those things. I've seen people buy houses and see the floor, the walls, and everything in a bedroom that have dry rot, that have, you name it, it's all in the walls and the floor and everything else. And what did they do? What did they do? They went in and took out that side of the house or that room of the house, and they restructured, they rebuilt, they remodeled, they changed everything. Whoops, headphones are falling off. They changed everything. They put everything back the way that they know would work. I've seen people do that. Totally take out all the walls, take the floor out, restructure the floor, rebuild the walls, rebuild the outside, put new windows in. I've seen people do that. I've helped a few people I know of do that. This is what we need to do with Washington, D.C. We need to totally and systematically and methodically change the whole thing, okay? Change everything about Washington, D.C. And the first thing, as I said, not so much in order, but the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the lobbyists and the special interest groups. That's what we need to do. Get rid of them. Then we need to go in and get rid of the Federal Reserve. We need to get rid of the IRS. We just need to get rid of them. We need to tell the Treasury, here's what you're going to do. You're going to print enough money. Yes, I know. You're going to print enough money to last us 6 months. In 6 months, we're going to come back and renegotiate, and we're going to go from there. Now, of course, how you pay back the Federal Reserve. You don't. You get rid of it. How you pay back the Treasury? Well, how do you pay your bills every month? You don't get a bill from them, but you know how to pay back the Treasury? It's real easy. Flat tax across the board. Don't give me this crap about fair tax. No, that implies, and when you look at those structures and the formulas of fair tax, it's still a tiered tax system, which we are currently in. You get rid of all of that, and you put out a flat tax across the board. Period. Well, we need to negotiate to see what that flat tax rate would be. You don't have a rate. No, you have a flat tax. You don't say, well, certain people make certain amount of money, and if they make $100,000, we can't tax them at a flat rate. Yeah, you can. What's 15% of $100,000? Figure it out. What's 15% of $1 million? $10 million? $45 billion. What is it? You look at the flat tax. You examine the whole issue of financing this government, and the first thing every politician wants to do is negotiate with we the people to say, well, we need to raise your taxes because of this. No, you don't. You need to stop your damn spending. You need to stop paying $2 billion for a jet. You need to stop all that crap. What you need to do is take all that money. You need to bring the troops home. You need to stop all that spending over there. You need to stop bribing other countries is what you need to do, all right? You need to bring all those troops home. You need to do what you need to do here. You need to put together a financial package for education, for law enforcement, for fire personnel, for, you name it. You put all the money here in the United States. Well, if you start a business and you can't draw a salary for 6 months to a year, what do? You put all the money back into the business for advertising, anything else. You might take a few hundred here and there, because it's your business, it's your money, why not? But to restructure a government, you need to get rid of all the baggage. How many departments in Washington, D.C. actually do the same thing as some other department in Washington, D.C.? You need to stop the redundancy. You need to take not completely, you need to take the important organizations and departments in Washington, D.C., you need to put them on one side and say, let's see, can we do this? And then you take all the other departments that seem to be redundant and seem to have, are doing the same thing under a different name than somebody. You need to take all that and restructure that and say if they are not helping the main departments in Washington, D.C. do their job efficiently and effectively with redundancy, then guess what? They need to go. You want to streamline Washington, D.C., flat tax across the board, and you get rid of all those useless departments. Period. Well, guess what else you need to do? You need to go to taxes. Yeah, flat tax across the board. And within that, you eliminate all of the tax shelters. Period. And you tell big business, you even take $1 out of the United States to put in a Swiss bank account or put in a private account in the Cayman Islands, you are going to be held responsible for that and for whatever interest you make off of that, and you will be taxed for it. Okay? In other words, you take any business out of the U.S., you take any of the money from your business out of the U.S., you take any of your personnel out of the U.S. and open up another business in another country. Number one, you're going to be taxed. Number two, you're going to have to stay here because for every day you do that, we will penalize you through certain fines, and you do that. And you're holding companies here. And I know the businesses are going to say, well, we can't do that. People want $10, $12, $15, $20 an hour, and we just can't pay that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. If it's a little mom and pop shop, 50 to 100 employees, no, you can't. You just can't do it. But you need to abolish minimum wage and implement a fair market living wage per region. Now, what's a fair market living wage? It's real simple. Take all of your basic fixed expenses, your rent. I'm not talking mortgage here, because when you're making, very little, you can't afford a mortgage. So you take your rent, you take your power bill, you take your, all of that, your food, all of that, just basic expenses. Okay, not your expense on your cable or your internet or your cell phone or your car payment. I'm looking at fixed expenses such as car insurance, because if you do have a car, you got to pay car insurance. That's a fixed expense every month. So you got to look at all of that stuff. You take all that, and I'm just going to throw a number out here. I don't know what it is. I haven't figured it out, but I'm just going to throw out a number. If your fixed expenses are $1,800, well, make it $1,500 a month, which is nothing really. That's anywhere between 55 to 65% below poverty level. Okay, something like that. Let's just say you make $2,000 a month. That's still, that's $24,000 a year. Okay, let's just say you make $2,000 a month. And that's your expenses, your fixed expenses. Well, that's a little much, isn't it? Okay, let me drop it back down to $1,500. Your fixed expenses are $1,500 a month. Okay, $1,500 a month. That's your fixed expenses. A fair market living wage for you should be 35% or 35% over minimum wage, or at least 40% of your fixed expenses. Now, of course, people are going, well, geez, that's only, what is that? That's, I don't know. Go check it out. Well, let's do that now. I'll get on my computer here. I'll go to the Start menu. I'll go to Programs. And I'll go to Accessories. And grab the calculator. So if your fixed expenses are $1,500 a month, according to my thing. What is 40% of 1,500? That's $600. So you need $2,100 a month. What's that break down to on an 8-hour day? So $2,100 a month. That's that's still poverty, folks. That's still poverty. So let's take that, divide that by 4, which is 4 weeks in a month, of course. That's $525 a week. So let's take that and divide that by 40 hours a week. That's $13.13 an hour. Actually, 13.125. $13 an hour. That would be your fair market living wage per region. Now look at this. Take that $13 an hour, place it in a region where your cost of living is really, really low. In other words, apartments are, a 1-bedroom apartment is, $450 a month or $500 a month, whatever, really, really low. Your expenses are low, all of that, you still got the, fixed expenses, but your cost of living is really low. So let's take that $13 an hour and place it there. You're living almost really well. Okay, you got money at the end of the month. You can go out to dinner at least once or twice a month, that kind of thing. But if you take that $13 an hour and place it in a region that has a higher cost of living, and I'll give you a prime example. Just earlier this year in 2012, San Francisco, the city of San Francisco raised, I don't know how a city can do this, raised their minimum wage to $10.25 an hour. That's nothing, folks. Anybody living in San Francisco, California should be making should be making $17 an hour. $15 to $17 an hour. Okay? There's rent control. It's very, very expensive to live in San Francisco. Okay, so the cost of living in California is way high. $13 an hour ain't going to help you much. I used to live in California making $11 an hour. And I had a $600 a month rent. I had, or something like that, $650. I don't remember. It's been a while now. And I had car insurance, and I had all that, Did I get help? Yeah. Not much. But I had food. I had, so even $11 an hour was a little much. I couldn't pay, any extra out because I had fixed expenses I had to pay every month, including car insurance, including, all of that. I wasn't even counting my cable because I had cable TV. Wasn't even counting that. I had internet. Wasn't counting that. Okay? Bottom line is you can't make it on minimum wage. That's my point. There's no way anybody can make anything on minimum wage. Because let's take a look. In Nevada, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Nevada's minimum wage is $7.55 if the company offers medical, a medical plan, whatever, health plan, that kind of thing. So let's take just a basic $8 an hour. Let's times that by 40 hours a week, and you get $320 a week. Let's take that, multiply that by 4 weeks. That's $1,280 a month. Minus, you got to take taxes out. So what is that? About $100, 120 maybe. So I'm just going to shoot a number in there because I don't know what it is. I don't know the tax rate. Minus 120 equals $1,160. So if you have rent, let's just put a number out there, $600 a month, because I don't know what it is. That leaves you $560 a month. Let's say you have food, your food expenses, let's just say you live by yourself. So your food expenses are going to be anywhere between $85 to $125 a month. Let's shoot the middle there and say 100. What was that, 560? Okay. 560 minus 100. So what is that? That's 460. So let's minus car insurance anywhere between $50 to $70 a month. Well, I'll just make it 60 because it keeps my math simple. That's $400. Let's just say you have a fixed expense of utilities anywhere between 80, well, depending on where you live, anywhere between $80 to $100. So let's go with the high on that at $100. So that's $300. Okay. Now, what do you have for fixed expenses? Okay. Let's just say you have at least 2 credit cards, which conservatively everybody has. Let's just say you have 2 credit cards and you're paying the minimum, $15 to $30 minimum. Okay, so let's go with that. So that's 2, so that's 60 minus $60. Okay, that's 240. So let's go with now some of the other expenses, such as cable. So anywhere between $80 to $150. Let's shoot the middle on that. Let's make it 120. Okay, so 120 from 240 leaves you 120. Okay, point being is, so I'm doing that on the calculator on the computer. Point being is this: minimum wage cannot help you live, does not make you live, does not even come close. I know people with a minimum wage job, actually they have 2 jobs because they can't make it on minimum wage. We need to abolish minimum wage, period, end of sentence. We need to get rid of it. We need to tell the unions, we're not fighting for you anymore. We're not going to put money in your coffers so you can go out and, support a political candidate we don't agree with. No, we're done. We're done with the unions. We're done with all of those people. Now, one last thing before I get out of here. If you disagree with me, that's okay. I don't always agree with everyone either. Email me. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. If you have anything that you want to respond to that I've talked about today, please put it there on Spreaker under the show. Or if you don't want everybody else to read it, you can email me personally at the show at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I don't know. I mean, things have to change. Things have to change. We, the people, have the power. We are the resistance. We are America. And what are you doing? You're sitting down, watching your stupid reality shows and your stupid sports programs. You got your head so far up your butt that when you fart, you give yourself a migraine. You need to start looking around and examining what's going on because your life depends on it. And even the political nature of these debates and this season that we're going through politically, this is a big one. We need to stop supporting the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay? The Democrats and the Republicans, as Jesse Ventura's book is entitled. We need to stop it. We just need to stop this horse crap. We just need to stop. We need to change things to make it of, by, and for the people. And the music you hear means it's about time for me to go. Now, email us, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Come join me on the views expressed Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Remember, we the people have the power, for we are America. Oops. Sorry, little glitch.